huge on the support role. He has the second best KDA overall in the support position, only behind Ming at 8.3. So this guy has been an engaged monster. He's been keeping himself alive, and he actually plays a very mean Gragas. He's kind of the new rising star on the LGD roster, so I'm not surprised that they're taking away the Thresh from him. And also the second best player in especially the early game, I would say, is Uniboy. So they just want to make sure that he doesn't get his best champion in the Zoe either.
A lot of developing parts on this LGD roster, and what we were going to talk about was, you know, their success in recency, right? Like, they've had a lot of good recent games coming back from Chinese New Year as well. But I'll digress further because LGD, they see the Udyr. You mentioned this is a good response to it, Clement. I know you love Mundo like a father, and we're glad to see him here in Game 1.
Mundo is the only champion that I can mechanically master. So he's close, dear and near to my heart, and I hope they don't rework him too much, okay? He's perfect with his kit. And the reason that he's picked against Udyr is he basically eclipses Udyr in every single way. He farms as fast as he does, and his teamfight's actually better. He's more of a frontliner, he doesn't follow up as much, he provides more damage. It's only his early game and first clear that's a little bit suspect. If you can target out on his first clear, then he might never be able to finish clears. So, but if you get through that first clear, he's absolutely terrific. I think he's a great eclipsing pick against the Udyr. And we also see LGD just come up with a super strong teamfight composition with the potential flex in the Seraphine.
Yeah, the sustain is going to be absolutely massive, right? And you say flex because we've seen teams like V5 hover it into the mid lane for Mole and be that accelerated support pick that, as you mentioned, can really help with these team fights. So I like it already from LGD. On the other side, pretty standard here, Jiumeng going onto the Xayah, but yet we're without a potential solo laner for LGD, depending on where the Seraphine goes, as you talked about. We need a top laner for WE and their support. They're already banning away the Gnar to add the engage into LGD.
Yeah, they're taking away all the frontline champions that we typically seen. Only the Ornn is up, and so far I don't think we have seen Cult go on that champion just yet. So I like these target bans. You know, if you take away key components, at least force your enemy onto something new. Have them show you a new card here. For WE side, it looks like they're going to be... I like the Xayah pick quite a bit. I think if you look at Mundo and Kaisa, these are champions that want to run into you, and Xayah can circumvent that by being a more defensive pick and just backing out of the team fights with Featherstorm.
As well, yeah, the escape tool is always great. I want to see what's paired with it though, because you were talking up Peace before. Missing has been a fantastic support in 2020 LPL and even this year. I think has left a little bit more room to be desired as to what we saw last, but still great as they're going to take the Gragas away. A pick you mentioned that would have been perfect for Peace if he took it into the support position.
I don't think we've seen early Gragas plus Xayah combos, so this should most likely be a top lane Gragas.
Okay.
They could definitely flex it. I don't think Xayah plus Gragas in the bottom lane actually does that much, but we'll see how this one goes. In the meantime, I think LGD are definitely going to go for team fighting. I do expect a control mage mid and probably just a tank top here. This is going to be a good question to see if Cult actually wants to pull the Ornn. I think the Ornn's a decent option here. Buffs up the front line with Mundo. That's pretty much unkillable. And you also have surround sound backing that up. So it's pretty ridiculous there.
Do you play to the side lane though? Does this fit into the composition you want to see for LGD?
I don't like Camille. If that Gragas does go towards the top side, it's a fairly weak matchup in the early game.
Couple seconds, there it is, Clement.
Yeah, I don't really like this. I think that you could play towards almost completely the bottom side. I think the reason they're going for Camille is like, if this Seraphine is into the support role, as they've already shown, that's not a role that you can actually gank for. So they want an early game lane that they can play towards, and that's what Camille gives you. But it's not exactly a great pick if the Gragas goes top.
And you got an Aatrox against it, right? You know, Aatrox has been tended to do pretty well against the Camille in certain times. So run me through what WE want to do first, because I know that you don't like LGD's pick up here, but at the very least, run me through what WE want to do, because we have good team fighting to circumvent with the Aatrox in it as well.
So WE are actually playing a top side focus comp. Udyr plus Orianna is a very common LPL combo that we see. Level 6, you have this guided shockwave. And Aatrox is also pretty strong into the Camille. It's a decent matchup, a skill-based matchup, but one that slightly favors Aatrox in the early portions of the game. And their bot lane is super defensive. You don't really expect a lot to happen out of this bot lane. But it's not going to die. It has good wave clear. They can keep waves from actually crashing into tower, so they will always have decent minion states. In the meantime, I think the composition from LGD is looking more for big team fights overall. So this is not going to be a particularly fast game plan for them. And the Camille is just there, so they have a little bit of early action. They can potentially find kills for Cult. And Cult himself has been a rather fighter-focused player. Like, if this guy gets going, we have seen a lot of really good games from him. But, you know, this split LGD so far, I think jungle is a bit of their weak point. So trying to get things going early has not been particularly successful for them.
Does feel like we are just going to be looking towards that top lane in the early game for both these teams and see who gets up there first and can kind of bridge this game into a pretty snowbally point. I think as well, we see scaling elements on both sides, Clement, but you know, when you talk about team fighting in the LPL, a lot of these better teams have been managing to pull out team fight comps and be quite successful with them. We talked about the Udyr earlier on today. Of course, not seeing it here, but you see we've got the Viktor, we've got the Kaisa, we've got the team fighting parts you mentioned for LGD, but LGD are not the same team you remember from Worlds. They've lost a lot of their core players. The only one left is Kramer. Kramer, the last standing member. Colt, Chance, who Chance is not playing this game, but was still on the back burner of this team. As what? I don't know what we saw there. Obviously, new arena. Oh my god, it's 2 Oriannas. It's 2 Kaisas. What a way to open up WE's brand new venue. Fantastic.
Yeah, new venues always have a couple of glitches. I do want to talk about the head-to-head itself. LGD, for some reason, has always had WE's number. They actually beat them in spring, in regular split, in summer in regular split, and then took them out of playoffs as well. So this is definitely a grudge matchup for WE. There is no better way to show your growth by taking down one of your old rivals.
You got to imagine that this is going to be a real statement for LGD if they can do it. We already talked about teams trying to beat WE, and WE right now are, I would say WE are in a pretty good position, Clement. We already mentioned, like, playoffs are like on the horizon, 3 weeks away. We are in week 7 here at the LPL, 10-week split, single round robin, so everyone only versus each other once. They're sitting at 7-3, and WE have teams like OMG. They have BLG coming up. Sooning as well could be a bit of a challenge now, but then it's the EDGs, the top esports. So a couple of, you'd say, guaranteed wins left that are must for WE to secure an early spot within playoffs.
What's incredibly important for WE these couple of weeks is the emergence of Shanks. He was Rookie of the Week in Week 6, has a great KDA, and has really been able to hold his own, not only in the team fights, but also in the laning phase as well. Actually has a plus score there, to a lot of people's surprise. So the biggest weakness on WE's roster has been shored up, and that should make them rather competitive against other teams like Top Esports and Sooning, like you mentioned. And I just want to throw in that in this meta, I don't think mid lane laning phase actually matters as much as it used to do. A lot of people are doing cheater recalls. A lot of times it's just control mages or Corki versus Azir matchups. Yeah. So WE find themselves in a very comfortable environment where they can kind of get away by starting a rookie in the mid lane.
Where, you know, at the start of the split, we were seeing, like, Shanks was just generally getting bullied out, but I think you're right. Like, we've really developed into a stable mid lane. A point where someone like Shanks can kind of farm up, and his team fighting has been exceptional too, right? It is the strongest part about himself as a player, and I think the fact that the meta's shaped up like this is so good for him right now to edge him into that debut split. Folks, I am just kind of waiting for the issue on stage. We are in a new arena, and I guess that's it. I had to say it for it to cut to this screen. As brand new arena for WE, Clement. Last time, did we have the drums at WE? I know we had them at LGD. Did they incorporate the drums?
No, the drums were in WE as well.
Yeah, as well, right?
Yeah.
Let's wait and listen and see if we can hear it. Folks, welcome to the debut game in WE's home arena in Xi'an. A brand new one at that. If you've seen some of the pictures, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And look at the integration in-game. We'll wait for those gyros and lead us into game. Oh, I hear drum.
That was it.
I guess that's it.
What? The way they used to do it was they had 3 drum rolls, and each drum roll was finished up by a round of Xayahs, but I guess they don't have it going right now.
Yeah. Not sure about the crowd either. Didn't hear the Xayahs. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, since we are doing a remote stream here, sometimes we can't always hear the audio. So I hope everyone at home kind of just yelled at their screen, did their own Xayah, which, if anyone's tuning in, of course means refuel. A cool way of saying come on, honestly, in Mandarin. And also, Sujo, if you've ever been to LNG's home arena in the past, they have a different way of saying Xayah. Clement, do you remember what it is?
I believe it's Shongqi, but it's their own dialect, and there are a lot of different dialects in China, so I'm not going to pretend I know most of them.
Refuel or at oil, I think is the technical translation as well. But we're on to Summoner's Rift, and LGD with the bottom side start was actually unleashed from Kramer and Peace. Didn't get to watch if Jiumeng did the same, but even lane state, important to note because we do see the Gragas bottom lane. Level 2 first has been a huge turning point and a huge initiation point for a lot of these lanes as well.
Yeah, and I do want to point out this is pretty interesting.
Like that?
No, the rune choice for missing is not something that we have seen before. He's actually taking Arcane Comment into this one. So this is a much more poke-focused lane. I'm not sure how this actually works out against someone like Peace, because he does have sustain on the Seraphine. So my guess is that it has to land mainly on Kramer for this to work out in his favor. Ooh.
As Mundo invaded into his jungle, this is not what you want first blood over to Beishang. Clement in pick and ban, you were literally just saying, Quay just wants to clear.
Yeah, Mundo has a very weak early clear. He typically is low health. That's why he has to bring the fleet footwork. And this is exactly what you want to do if you face a Mundo. If you actually kill him on his first clear, he has tremendous difficulty clearing on his second round. Yeah.
And now you're at a point where you already talked about the volatility of this top lane Camille, and even though LGD said the team fighting elements is there, as Shanks is actually just destroying Uniboy. Running a bit low on mana, but we'll have the shove in this wave. And as I was saying, you know, Quay now in a difficult position because he's behind on his clear. Beishang is currently up about 10 CS once this Scuttle Crab goes down. And Colt's going to be on a bit of an island even with Ignite and TP.
Yeah, the early game not going well for LGD. Now, it is a little bit expected for Viktor before he gets the death rate upgrade at 100 fragment stacks to be pushed in by the Orianna. But still, this is a pretty massive lead here, and we are actually going to see... Okay, no, never mind. I thought Shanks was actually going to walk towards lane. I thought that was kind of crazy, but he does decide to burn his teleport for the cheater recall here, and he will force the teleport out again from Uniboy. Now, the key thing we have to see here is level 6, Orianna has a lot more pressure compared to Viktor. Because of the shockwave crowd control, it's much easier to do ganks, and Quay also has lost his flash, and I think he's pretty far behind the Udyr at this point. We already see the boots of lucidity, so we should expect WE to pay a lot of emphasis onto the mid lane, just force Viktor back, and try to then move it to other lanes.
And not just behind in pace, Quay's being really, really cautious moving to his camp. Pings were getting spammed down towards Raptors, being like, is Udyr here? We don't know. Warded on the bottom side of the map towards Beishang's blue buff, but there are ways to skirt around that vision, at the very least, through the lane that was pushed out at the time. Goes towards his Raptors. Luckily, Beishang's not there. He's busy clearing his top side of the map, which Breed is also pushing in. So the lead will continue here, and just from that first blood from the CS lead, WE are leading the charge with about 800 gold to start off.
Yeah, and this is really bad for Mundo because he is a full clearer, and this means that Beishang has a very easy time at guessing which direction he is going to go. He's on point, on time, just picking up his Krugs, and honestly, we are going to see if Beishang can do the Jungle Bandit better, or is SOFM still the king of stealing camps?
Apparently, it's not looking good for Quay. You know, I was going to say apparently Quay has to be SOFM in this game, which is going to be a hard ask, but Gromp was stolen away, Clement. Beishang backs at level 6 versus level 4 on Quay. Look at his camps available. Red will be respawning, so we're getting back to that secondary clear. but Beishang has a lot more to take. The early dragon, the rest of the scuttle topside, excuse me, a lot working in his favor. And this is what you want to see from WE. You want to see this control from the jungler when we talk up Beishang quite a lot. A Shockwave going to be pulling back in, but Chaos Storm onto Shanks. He flashes for the dissonance. One more auto command attack. Solo kill for the rookie mid laner.
Yeah, well played by Shanks right there. Actually ticks over to level 7 during the fight and comes out very, very far ahead into that one. It's going to be 10 CS. The wave is actually still pushing back to him, so he's got that in perfect position. And I just want to say you're going to have to expect repeat ganks. Beishang is very far ahead. With that Udyr plus Shockwave combo, you're going to see exactly how it's executed and why it is picked so much in the LPL. You can target people with the stun, Shockwave to follow up, lots of damage, very easy kill combo to pull off.
You didn't say done, Clement, but I'll forgive you for this time around. You know, Shanks...
I was leaving it for you!
Hey,
that's fine.
I appreciate it. It's okay. I just want to say that for Shanks, that's a really big moment going up against Uniboy here. Uniboy went to Worlds, therefore, by the properties of solo kill, he's now better. As Breathe into Colt. Colt's in a bit of trouble. The World Ender takes the Ignite, but Colt waiting for the hookshot, wall shot. Is it going to be enough time? Hextech Ultimatum was a nice little play, but Breathe with a solo kill. We're on 3 solo kills in this game at 7 minutes in.
It's looking pretty bad for LGD, and that's why I don't really like the blind Camille. I feel like the blind Camille is not necessary as a play around point. And just think about this counter matchup coming in from Breathe. Camille is forced to bring Ignite just to close the difference in the early game against Aatrox, and even with Ignite, she still died. So, kind of questionable play coming out from them. And in the meantime, W is going to run away with the map with this first rake.
And just look at the gold again. I'm going to keep drawing attention to it as your right dragon goes down. A WE here. Up 10 CS in the mid lane, 25 within the jungle, 10 top side with the solo kill on top. Bottom lane pretty much even, but I didn't get a chance to have a look. It's a couple of CS in the favor of Jiumeng, and Beishang, he's back. You think you're going to get your blue buff? Breathes here too. Shanks has roamed around. Uniboy's going to try and help. Blue's gone. Shockwave pulls back in Quay, and Mundo is just getting bullied.
Oh, he even flashed for that one. That was kind of ridiculous. Good Infernal Chains coming out from Breathe, putting him into an awkward angle. I believe the Shockwave missed, but the Infernal Chains still got him back and found the kill. So this is the problem with Mundo. If he gets disrupted on his first gank, he can't actually full HP clear anymore. So it's been sad there, missing going for the kill.
Explosive cast. Peace might be in a bit of trouble, but Jiumeng's low on health. Kramer has the ulti available. Missing now, left alone. Flash from Peace. He has to get away from the fat man as Kramer tags him down, gets the proc, and second skin will do the rest. Kramer still healthy in the lane, so he can stick around, but Peace now with 0 summoners.
Interesting usage of the Comet Gragas just for extra kill potential. This is so fun to see. Typically we do have Gragas just go for Aftershock is still the main one because he has to play a main initiation role. Comet is almost purely for lane. So we will have to keep track on how this actually works out. But in the meantime, Breathe actually picks up the red buff from Mundo, which makes Colt's life a lot harder.
Dude, he's got Phage, he's got Pickaxe too, so just one hit from Q is going to do too much for Colt to deal with right now. Sitting back at his turret, Breathe close to that first turret plating, and again, he's being such a pain. Why we talked up this top laner, he's doing so well, and Beishang been playing around these solo lanes in fact too, so it does feel like for WE, their early game has been crystal clean. Quay finally going to try and get something back. He's like, I'm doing it, boys.
He's actually
I'm finally stealing a camp.
Oh, Beishang incoming.
But he's out, Clement. Is that what matters?
Is he really out?
Wait, no, he's passing. No, chilling smite. Why did Quay pass towards top side? Shanks getting slowed down with the gravity field. Beishang almost solo killed him, but Shanks takes the kill. And one small mistake, Beishang says thank you.
That was actually really well predicted by WE. You could see the pings coming out, and also Breathe went to check into the topside jungle if Mundo was clearing his own camp. He even pops the Scryer, so they eliminated a lot of different possibilities. Even when they didn't have eyes on him, they were able to guess his position, and now Beishang is taking a camp in front of the top laner.
I don't think he cares. He's level 9. He's a higher level than the top laner Colt. This is just a great visual for WE fans, I guess. There's 100 CS now onto Beishang, goes back to his camp, and he has a little bit available. And meanwhile, okay, good. Shanks goes down. LGD get their first kill of the game. I'm sure they feel happy about that one.
Really nice find here. The Hextech ultimatum was used, so Shanks decides to hold on to his flash, doesn't expend that one, and they are going to get 2 plates here, I believe.
Yeah, take it pretty fast, in fact, as well, with the help of Colt, so 80 gold apiece, make it 160 in total for each. And when the game was spiraling so far out of control, that does put things into perspective a little bit for LGD to try and find avenues in this game. Quay trying to do the same in this bottom lane, Clement.
Mundo goes where he pleases, maybe.
So does Gragas. Apparently, explosive cast sends him into the 80 carry. Jiumeng turns onto piece. Teleport being committed. The feathers will fly. Quay very healthy, but he flashes away. Missing. Still alive until he takes an infected cleaver. He survived for so long. The feathers at the ready. And
no.
Uniboy TPs into the feathers, man. Flash forward from Breathe. Quay's like, not again. And we're back to where we started.
A bit of a tragic start for WE as Jiumeng has to instantly burn both of his summoners, but the teleport difference was massive in that one. There was already a lot of feathers covered in that battlefield. Unfortunately for Uniboy, he doesn't even get the flash after he teleports in, just dies to the burst damage. And Beishang is going to walk away with most of the spoils in this one. It was a pretty decent play from LGD. They definitely found that first kill, but the teleport difference from the rest of the map coming down was just too much to handle.
At least plates were able to go up to Colt in the top lane. We'll look at what we missed mid again, because I was complimenting the play from LGD, and it was Colt with great positioning.
Yeah, that's such a hard gank to avoid here. And now going into the bot lane, this was a good start from LGD. If they just pick up the kill onto missing, should be fine right here. But Jiumeng manages to do a number on them. Quay isn't able to pick up the kill on Gragas fast enough, so the explosive cast doesn't really matter. And Uniboy just comes in with actually a pretty low HP as he lands there, so dies instantly.
But we come back to live, and Herald that was taken from Beishang is just put down topside. More gold goes over to Breathe, who's 4-0 with an early gore drinker. Meanwhile, Dragon has spawned as well, and the team that's 3k ahead in WE are going to be taking this, no doubt, while Breathe is pushing turrets, or excuse me, turret plating quite quickly here with Colt in the mix. And you can just see with Gore Drinker, he doesn't take any damage. Colt's going to get a nice trade, but expect that to be healed up. As you see, there's the dunk down.
There's no sustain onto Camille, so Breathe can trade however he wants to. With the Mundo being spotted on the top side, this is super safe for Beishang and the bot lane to take it down. I really like how they've been keeping track of Mundo this entire game. They pretty much know that Mundo's just full clearing from bot to top. So they have his timers down to the second, and they're making plays even before they actually see the Mundo appear on the wards.
Still 50 CS lead here for Quay. Breathe gonna react to the TP? No, just back away. Not gonna overstay his welcome. It's a Trinity Force onto Colt as well, so maybe that was for the best. As he backs away, he doesn't have teleport, so if the wave gets shoved in, won't have an opportunity to push himself. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Jiumeng and missing. They're gonna get first turret blood. WE 4,500 gold ahead. This early game has been the tales of success from a team that's performing like we talked about. They're in the top 5 for a reason, Mr. Chu, and this early game has been Beishang's baby.
Yeah, it has been. With the Mundo that's not farmed off, a jungle Mundo actually doesn't do much at all. It's not tanky.
True.
He just kind of dies to everything, and he doesn't provide hard crowd control. So this is LGD's composition that had a very strong team fighting core in Seraphine and Mundo, just sort of falling apart. I don't think they can actually match W at any time soon for their front line. And what I expect to see is WE just grouping up, using that explosive cask from Gragas and the Shockwave plus Udyr combo to find picks over and over again.
So what do you do if you're LGD then? Because I think it's important to look at ways how, you mentioned, the team fighting composition, using Mundo at the front line, the unkillable front line. He's definitely not going to be unkillable for a long time, but how do you sit back with the pressure that WE have and the second Herald going down too?
I think what you are looking for LGD is to go to WE into your own jungle, use those long corridors for a great team fight coming out of Seraphine. You can definitely still win a team fight with a gold disadvantage with Encore. It's just such an insane ability. It manages to reset itself on every target it hits, so you could find the entire team that way. And another good situation to actually look for is sieging situations. So in sieges, a lot of team members will be stuck in this corridor.
Shockwave comes down and Beishang gets another kill.
Never mind.
Never mind, Clement. I'm sorry I asked, honestly. As Shelly swipes it, something invisible, WE are going to get a second push off this as well. 2 turrets in one play. Beishang moves up to help Curse. And I didn't even get time to mention that Beishang is BMing so hard here that he's picked up a Magi's. He's got 7 stacks on it, and this Udyr is having a great old time.
Now, this is actually a decent move. It's not a truly BM move. The real BM move is like the wizard lizard I've seen on people. Like, if they get too far ahead, they build lasagnas on Renekton. That's a BM move. But this one actually makes sense because he is building Turbo Chem Tank. So, right now he will get the extra, I think it was swatched over to Ability Haste, but you do get the Mythic passive on this item. So, and the scaling on Phoenix is actually super high. A lot of people don't really realize this, but it's a 1.0 scaling ratio on Phoenix if you get the initial proc and the 3 hit.
I love that you brought up Wizard Blizzard, but Clement, this was some wizardry here. I mean, this is a clean play from WE to follow off the lead.
I thought Peace might use his Encore there and attempt to save his mid laner, but decides to just save it there.
Hey, Colt's doing well in a side lane. I want to be positive about LGD. After I just watched E-Star versus Rare Adam, I think I've got a very positive outlook coming into this second series, because already I feel like it's nice to watch this game, at least from WE's perspective, let's say. Colt doing well in the side lane. Pretty much the only member right now doing okay, while the rest of the map's falling apart. I mean, WE are out-rotating LGD yet again in a turret down the bottom side, and it doesn't feel like LGD can do anything in response.
This is going to extend the gold lead for WE. They definitely don't mind this play. It's going to take a lot for Colt plus Quay to actually kill Breed here. And they're happy to just force him out. You can tell that they don't want the full-on fight. It's actually pretty difficult to execute here. And they should be backing out now. I feel like this is actually super dangerous for the two of them.
So at least there is some response. Turret doesn't go down. Play is made. Beishang's moving up too with Uniboy. It might be spotted out. Gravity field there. Beishang will take pretty much no damage in the end, and the scuttle does go over to the jungler of WE, who's still 3 levels ahead. Something you and I talked about, Clement, just while things are slow is, you know, I mentioned the level lead because it is still pretty hard to come back from a jungle disadvantage, and being so far down like Quay, doesn't feel like it's going to be a while before he catches up to the level of Beishang, probably at 18, right? Yeah,
he's not really going to be catching up anytime soon. Like, his clear speed is significantly slower than the Udyr at this point, and WE is taking away most of his bot side camps. So he's never really coming back. I think we're almost forced to go into a Christmas Timmy mode right now and just try to think about the best teamfight situations for LGD. It's going to be 5-man Encore into 5-man Death Ray into 5-man Chaos Storm.
Always
Let's do it, baby.
Yeah, everyone has to be in there. WE have to move in there at this point, I'd say voluntarily, to try and give LGD something in this game. We're 19 minutes in. It's a 7,000 gold lead. And dragons are being stacked. We're going to have the potential of a 23, maybe 24-minute Ocean Soul Clement. So, I don't know how you put a foot wrong right here for WE. We're talking them up, of course, because of how dominant they've been in this game. They've only got inhibitor turrets left standing as well. That's LGD's side, so WE aren't able to fully push in, but Baron has now spawned, and you can see WE like, we should just threaten this now.
No one's even close on LGD's side. They do have the pings going down, but just looking here, it has to be Cult and Uniboy teleporting up there. They're so far behind the play, and even if the teleport starts now, I don't think they can take this. But right now, Beishang and WE are looking to put the finishing touches on this one. I do want to see them come up with some like Suning-esque performances and trying to go for perfect games or the fastest game timer possible.
Breathe, flashing over the wall though, wants another solo kill. He's run out of Q charges until we reset there, of course. One more hit to do it, and Colt is out thanks to the hookshot wall shot. Rest of LGD here to support, and W were ample on the engage, but they don't follow up. They picked up the Baron. They've done everything they need to do. Gold now at 9,000, 8,500 just about at 21 minutes. Keep an eye on that gold clock, because now with Baron, W want to start pushing down some of these inhibitor turrets and break this game into a quick completion to start the series off.
And W right now have a very strong cleanup teamfight composition. They have a short cooldown CC, they have Aatrox with World Ender that gets resets every time he gets a kill. So if a fight does happen, I actually expect W to be able to chase down every single surviving member from LGD. We are looking at potentially one of the quickest games in the LPL. The fastest so far has been Suning versus OMG at 22 minutes and 26 seconds. So WE still have 1 minute to close off that big team fight, and I think we are heading towards it right now.
Beishang's the one on the side now with the Dead Man's Blade. He's a fast AP Spirit Bear who is going to just push on in and look at the rest of LGD like, what do we do? Meanwhile, Colt's up in the top lane. He has teleport. He wants to push in the inner turret, but WE are just going to break the base. This is going to be explosive. Colt, you're here. Okay. Take what you can. But W might just start a fight.
Yeah, W are going to finish this one off.
Bike way, flash bear slap, and you know that he's just going downhill. Teleport not being used because Breed actually went to the top lane. Pete flashes away himself, and with Quay dead, W are just going to wrap rings around this base, try and bring in their minion wave, and get towards those Nexus turrets.
Yeah, I don't think they will finish on this wave, though, because the minion wave is thinning at this point. So we won't see the fastest game in the LPL, but W had the right idea. They're pretty close.
Close enough, you know. I just want to point out that gold difference there was 3,500 from Beishang to Quay. The 10,000 gold lead and 33% just about is over to this jungler. And I don't know what we say at this point, Clement. Ocean Soul coming up in a minute 15. LGD again absolutely walloped. And it does feel like, you know, even though it's not going to be the quickest game, it's still going to be under 30 minutes at this rate.
Yeah, LGD's win streak against W will be broken right here. It's sweet revenge on the horizon for WE. Last time around in playoffs, I felt like W was the better team. Beishang was there. But LGD with Peanut and Xayah on the roster were still able to triumph over WE. The rosters have shifted now. LGD is a full lottery team. They're just trying to see who sticks. Yep. They have 8 members on this squad, so a lot of swapping around. Really not the same caliber of team anymore. And W look like they will be closing us off, but Shanks is caught.
Colt doing well. Shanks will be locked down once again, but Peace doesn't finish off the kill. He's scared of the rest of WE, and luckily he survives. Has teleport to come back for the play, while Shanks will actually die from Uniboy on the back end. Not sure why we're looking up in the top lane, but Uniboy's just going to die as a response. Breed's going to keep pushing in. There's a teleport from LGD, but Beishang still wants to find the mark. He's got 13 stacks on the Magi's. He doesn't really die. Continues to run now at half health. Kramer ready to come in as well. Great encore. And LGD are actually winning this fight until Breed comes in to dunk down. Base is in tatters still. The Camille flies through, and it doesn't matter that was the best fight we were ever going to see from LGD. They lose it anyway, and now WE can run it home.
Yeah, there's nothing much you can do against Breathe. There's no Ignite, and the only Grievous Wounds item is on Mundo, so they leave Quay for last. Very easy teamfight pickup with a 10k gold lead. LGD show that they still have some fight in them, but it's not going to be enough as W are knocking down the Nexus.
Beishang has 25 stacks on an Udyr jungle. What a fitting way to end this game 1, which was pure, hard jungle death from WE's Beishang.
After a great performance from SOFM yesterday, we get another great example of banditry coming out from Beishang. He was up 20 CS before 6-minute mark, 2 levels on the first rake, and he's showcasing why he is putting his name in as the best jungler of the LPL.
Man, and deservedly so. You can see on the desk, that was PYL is on the Chinese broadcast if you didn't know. And he's obviously having a bit of a laugh watching LGD there getting slapped. And, you know, LGD, I like the last responses. Oh, man, we just went to full glitch mode. LGD not happy that we had a laugh. it was a decisive game from WE. I like the response from people like Colt, even like that bottom lane fight. Clement, I'm just impressed with WE at this point, and both solo lanes took charge. And Jiumeng and Missing were like, don't worry, we'll just keep farming out. We won't give any advantages to LGD, and it was as clean a game as you can get.
Yeah, it's really nothing much to say here. I felt like Quay's jungle pathing was caught out way too early on, and they just continued to punish that jungle pathing again and again. Mundo wants to full clear the entire time, and he basically never saw his grumps. Every time he was around that area, Beishang was there, Breathe was there. I don't really like the idea of the last pick, Camille. I felt like that left them open to being dominated on one side, and it also meant that Mundo couldn't finish his full clear. So, I think there was just a couple small mistakes here in the draft and not enough creativity coming out from LGD to kind of play around that. So gave Beishang a great opening to just shut this game from the start.
Yeah, creativity, definitely a key word. I mentioned it before with some of these lesser teams, like I always love to see these picks like Mundo going into the Udyr, right? I think that was a flare of it. But yeah, the Camille pick, you already highlighted how it was a problem and how it kind of baned LGD parts in this game. And as clean as you get from WE, you already mentioned, man, an under 30-minute game in style. We're going to go to a break, and when we return, see if WE can do it again or if LGD have